Hello. So this is for the black sheep and everybody that's just going through it right now. Okay. I was having a conversation with someone today, and I accidentally told her that I realized I'm a gear. I'm like a gear. Like, I don't know if you ever I love those watches. There's like 15,000 different gears. Okay, in like a pocket watch. Very beautiful design, just like the gears itself, because it represents us. Okay. And I told her I realized I'm a gear, but I'm like a broken gear, and I realized that I just need to start oiling myself because I know with the way life is right now, there's a lot of things trying to get at least one gear inside of me to break before it breaks my whole clock. And that's what I feel like I'm dealing with right now. You know? And the voice was take gear backwards. That's what it said. Because I'm I realize in this whole scheme of things, it's not really supposed to be about being a man or a woman. It's about being a gear to the family. You understand? Everybody has to turn in a way where it helps everyone. You understand? Because if I'm using a little bit of my energy to turn my gear and the person next to me is doing the same, we waste less energy. You understand? He was also saying, men are the gears, all right, and women are the clocks. And it goes back to what the Quran and the Bible says about how a man can only go as high as the women in his life. Okay. And he was like, now take gear and flip it, right? Turn it around. And there's Ra, as in the god Ra, which is the sun. And then egg. And he was like, that's exactly what you're supposed to be in the in the family. You're supposed to be a shining yolk. You're supposed to be a light, and you're supposed to be a yoke to your family all at the same time. That's how he said it. You understand? And he was like, only the broken people are going to fix the world. Only the broken people with clocks who are broken. That's what he said. It was kind of deep how he said it. He was like, there's two reasons why. One, because a broken clock is right at least twice a day. Okay. And he said the second thing is there is no time. That's how you know that a broken clock is right twice a day. You understand? And he was just basically saying if you meet somebody that's broken, right? You know they're broken, but they're right at least twice a day. You understand? At least twice a day they're right. And so many things, you know. For me, I realized that we're supposed to go into a mentality as a gear with knowledge. You understand? I can attain knowledge, but how do we apply it? You know, I can see it in my head, but how do I get out of it? You understand what I'm saying? And I see it now. We're supposed to be gears for our life, not for that. for the people close to us, not for the work. Because we're gears for work. Okay. Just what the voice said. It goes, you work 8 hours a day. They tax you by the year. It's 24 hours in a day. And you want to know how they getting you? How they taxing you? Because not only are you working 8 hours a day, but it takes you 2 hours or more after you clock out to recharge your body from what? Because listen, it takes energy to make energy. So all that energy you waste in that work, you need at least 2 hours or more of recuperation time when you leave work. And that's because you wasted a lot of energy at work that the job not really giving a damn about, because you already clocked out after 8 hours. They don't really care. You understand that you expended energy. They already paying you for it. At the end of the day, you being taxed off the clock, whether they see it or not. And make it even worse, you only awake for 16 hours of the day, but they tax you for the whole day. So there's 8 hours that you can't control that they still tax you for. So yeah, they taxing you in your sleep too. And they just basically did that in our faces without even telling us. And that's why you're all tired. That's why you're all exhausted. Can't think straight. You put things in the wrong places. It's because you're drained. You're being taxed in your sleep. Okay. And that's why some of you guys can't sleep the way you want. And you're up all night. It's because you know you're being taxed in your sleep. But you're too exhausted to do or say anything about it. So you lay there and your whole body's in pain because your body is basically like ringing out alarms to let you know that you're being taxed, as far as not just financially, but energy-wise too. Because they don't think it's their fault that you go home and you think about work, when it is their fault. You understand? And I want you to understand something. So I'm going through an issue where I live at, right? A lady she gave us 3 days to take all vehicles. They allow us 2 parking spots in the mobile home park. And they said we got 3 days to remove vehicles that are not registered correctly or insurance correctly, because we're not even supposed to be doing work on our own vehicles on our own parking lot that we paid for. Okay. And the lot rent just increased last month. I want to say a few months ago, maybe like 6 months ago, they increased the lot rent by like $100 and something, okay? And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who cars they towed, but they towed a lot of people's vehicles. I had to tell this lady, like, you know what? You think this is a violation with all these drug dealers that live here? You don't violate them, and they've been here for over 2 years. She said, if you got a problem with it, call the police. I said, this is your property. You want me to do your job. You know, that's like me calling the tow truck people to be like, hey, my car ain't supposed to be here. Can you tow it for me so I could pay you some money to get it out? And on top of that, she want me to tax my life in order to do her job, because, you know what? Crap run downhill in this country. And she want me to fix her job for her without getting paid and risking my life. And that's the government we live in right now. They don't care. And the reason why they won't let these drug dealers go is because they live here. That's how they pay their rent. So it don't bother them none as drug dealers here, because they still get rent from them. At the end of the day, they can get money from this too. All right? Welcome to